Okay, I still several people are unassigned. I'll just give it another minute and then start. Let me just test if I can share my screen. Right. Is my screen visible? I'm getting a weird.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, visible? Okay.
Just sharing.
Yeah, now, yeah, it was a bit slow. Good. Okay, then let me start. Welcome, everyone. I'm joining this conference from the UK. It's just about 6 a.m. here, so it's an early start for me. So excuse me if I have various lapses of language or energy or memory. I did procure a cup of tea just now, so hopefully I'll be fine. So this session is about collaborating using game design, in particular what I call serious games. And I'll be explaining to you what serious games are and why we can use them and how. And also hopefully in this workshop, we will play a couple of games ourselves if the technology works for us. Right. So what is the basic issue here? Well, actually, let me say a word about myself first. I'm a professor in the UK at the University of Central Lancashire. I'm German originally, and I originally come from sign language linguistics. So I have about 25 years of experience interacting with deaf people, and I have picked up a lot of things from deaf culture, like everybody always sitting in a circle, everything being visual, using lots of interaction and things. And a lot of this, these features have then entered into the design of the games that I've been working with. So I found that the serious games I use work just as well with hearing people and using spoken language. And I also now work in a transdisciplinary institute in my university, and we do work across the different disciplines, working together with very diverse types of people. And basically, since this conference is about sustainability, the main question is always, how do we collaborate better with people who are from very different backgrounds? For example, in a city, some urban planner might have to collaborate with a lab-based biologist and with residents who are local, and perhaps with a builder, all of them, and maybe with local government, and all of them have their own cultures, their own ways to communicate. And it's actually really difficult for all these people to sit around one table and talk to each other in an equitable way to hear all voices and to actually find a common language and a common purpose. This is something that also in Europe everybody struggles with increasingly, and a lot of work we do at the university also is with such groups. And so I'll be relaying some of my experiences. So one thing we can do is to use games in order to collaborate. So this is what I understand by serious games. So as the name says, it's a bit of a contradiction in itself, because game is supposed to be fun and serious is supposed to be not fun. So that's why it is interesting, as contradictions are always good to kindle some new thinking. So a serious game, it has a purpose other than just entertainment. It's not only fun, but you want to learn, collaborate, raise awareness. Also, as a game, it's interactive. Usually you have, of course, groups of players who interact with each other. And we'll do some of that today as well. And you interact with the game environment also. And when you say game, please don't only think of all these video games. Actually, most of my work is in face-to-face games. And some of them can happen online as well. And then, of course, games have rules for actions, how you take turns between the players, how you communicate. Also, the game will have elements of chance. So they are generated and constrained by the game rules. For example, rolling a dice, it gives you an element of chance, like who is the next player, for example. Importantly, in a game, you can have emotional responses. Not only cognitive responses, because when it's a game, you can laugh, say things you wouldn't normally say. And that is very important in my experience, because when everybody only lives in their head, then the actions we often need for in sustainability context, they don't really come, from a deeper motivation, because you are only in the thinking mode. So all these things are important in games. Now let me show you a little video here. It's just a minute or so.
So why do I like inventing and playing serious games? Firstly, it's because games are universal. Humans in all cultures at all times have always played games, and non-human animals like playing too. Here you can see us relaxing at break time. People from 3 continents and a cat who spontaneously joined us. Secondly, I've learned from my research that serious games have all kinds of positive effects, especially on very diverse groups. There are effects on the way people communicate and interact in a game setting. Being a linguist, I've worked on the effects of serious games on communication in particular. We find that serious games are particularly valuable when working with very diverse cross-sectoral groups. Some of my research has involved deaf and hearing people, academics, educators, and NGOs from multiple countries. So what we find in serious games is that there's more clarity of communication because of the shared visual context that everyone relates to. And this also means that you are able to focus better and don't go off topic so much. Also, turn taking is often regulated as part of the game's choreography.
Right. So as you could see, one of the main benefits of games is that it's universal. It's in fact one of few human cultural universals, because every culture and any time always plays. And this cat was being very serious in playing with us. The effects on communication and interaction is something I've researched. Here you can see an example. This is a group of people from Uganda, Ghana, and different parts of India, and myself, and we are having a project together. There are hearing people there and deaf people. And our task was to discuss the project structure at the beginning of our session. And so there are different ways you can do this. So the traditional way is because I was the project lead, I would come to the front and lecture everybody and say, these are the partners, you do this, you do that. And it's all a one-way communication. And probably the next day, everybody forgets it again because they haven't actively done anything. So instead, we do the serious games. We were in different groups. You can see another group in the back. And I give them different props. Like you can see all these little things they've put together in a structure, and some basic rules, like a line means a relationship, a bigger prop means an institution, smaller ones mean persons, and so on. And then I ask them, you create the structure you think we are having. And so in small groups, they discuss who is doing what are the relationships, and so on. So this works quite differently because everybody is actively participating and can then remember things much better. And also the interactions are quite different. People are, then laughing and having a good time. Here's another group. They are also having a good time playing the game. So now at this point, we want to try a particular game. This game is called Turntable. it was originally a face-to-face game. Here you can see this is from one session. A turntable is a round thing that spins. Basically, you can see this white round thing in the middle. And in turntable, everybody writes their ideas on these little papers, and then we place them on the turntable face down. And we then spin it and pick up somebody else's idea and comment on it. So it's a different kind of discussion. And it works online as well. So that's what we'll try now. If you help me do this game, what we want is, we have the question here: why are you interested in serious games? Because you've all joined this session. So what I'd like to ask you to do is you just type a short sentence or phrase in the chat to answer this question. And then when you typed it, you can type 2 as well if you like. When you typed it, you immediately close the chat. So don't read what everybody else has written. And then we'll do the online turntable game. I'll give you a minute now. I'll also find the chat. Just write a short phrase or sentence. Why are you interested in serious games? Thank you. Messages are coming. Give it another minute. Remember, close the chat so you don't read everything. Otherwise, the game is not that much fun. Thank you. Very interesting ideas coming up here. Of course, I'm the game master, so I can see everything. You are just the players. You see only what I show in this session. Good. Some people have been smart and have sent me direct message. That's also good. Then I should remember that next time I should ask everybody send me direct message so that automatically nobody else will see it. Okay, good. So now what I'll do is I'll pick up one of the messages and I'll paste it into here. Good. Then I'll ask one of you to comment on this. I'll ask, let's see, Jayashri, I'll ask you. Can you read this and say what you think what the intention is, what it means?
Yes, the message reads, because it will help get messages to each other without any bias or rancor.
Yeah.
A game is a perfect setting where everyone plays equal. So everything gets into the spirit of the game, the rules, and it is not considered personal. So
yes,
it's easier to pass message, even contradictory message, to what others may be thinking or to what the general opinion is. It's a beautiful effort.
Great, thank you. So now I'll ask who wrote this message to comment back. Is that what you meant, or can you add some more to this comment? Who has written this, please?
Yeah, Sanjeev here. Yeah, actually I had written that message. Yeah. Yeah, so it basically places everyone on an equal footing. You know, there's no nobody, greater or lower, everybody's equal. So, you tend, I mean, it's like, it makes it, a little bit equal, and there is, more humor also. I mean, this is less serious than when you call it serious games, it is tends in a light-hearted mood. So I think it helps to get.
That's right. And have you experienced this somehow, or rather, have you experienced the opposite, that you would have wanted in some meeting to have more humor or more?
Yes. I mean, I have not experienced it, but I would like to. I mean, I would like to learn about it.
Yes. Okay, good. Yes, and this is exactly what we find, that we call this a non-threatening environment. So that when people feel that they are in a game, that means you are more relaxed, you are more ready for humor, and you're more ready to speak your mind and say things you perhaps wouldn't say if everybody was wearing suit and tie or formal dresses. And sit formally around a table with a chair person at the front. So yes, that's exactly right. Let me pick up another message. Here is one. Yeah. Oops. Okay, just my screens are a bit slow. Here it comes. Right, okay. Who can I ask? Sanjeev, can you continue? Read this one.
Yeah, okay. I think it says improve knowledge retention.
Yeah, what do you understand by that?
Yeah, I think actually this is a very good way, to actually, inculcate or whatever, pass on the knowledge to others without making it too elaborate and all that. Sometimes it's very easy to get a knowledge through easily, from, something very simple like a game or something. You'll be able to catch the message easier instead of, reading pages and pages and, not understanding it or forgetting later. Anything we experience through a game, we will enjoy and we will remember it forever. I think that is where this will.
Yeah, that's great. And who has written this one? Can you add to that?
Yes, ma'am. It's me, Dheeraj here.
Yes, Dheeraj.
So I totally agree with Sanjeev, sir. I was thinking the same. In game, we can sit together, have fun, and share our knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good. And again, that's what we find, that whenever you engage your emotions, that helps you remember better. There's actually a lot of research on this showing how engaging emotions helps better memory. Right, let me take one more. Yeah, Dheeraj, can you continue with this one?
Yes, ma'am, sure. The message is engage with citizen on public policy.
Right. What do you think about that?
I think, ma'am, during games, when we sit with our citizen, our old peoples, we can get more knowledge through it.
Yeah, okay. And who has written this one? Can you add to that?
I have written it.
Yeah, Sandeep, okay. Please, what did you understand? I mean, why did you write this?
I actually wrote this because most citizens find engaging with government, public policy, and bureaucrats to be really boring. They also find it to be very complicated. And, so, I mean, nobody wants to spare time for that process. So just to make it something more worthwhile, something more entertaining, in one word, I wrote this.
Yeah, that's good. And do you work with citizens and public policy yourself?
Yes, that's right. That's what I do.
Okay. And have you been in any game environment in this context, or this would be something new?
Yes, just last week I was trying out a game called Empavele. Empavele is a game for getting people to use a local budget on buying or participating budgeting. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Good. Let's take one last one. Yeah, maybe Sandeep, you can again continue to read the next one.
I love to bring people together. So my interpretation is that games are a collective way of meeting and thinking. So, it brings collective energies out. So yes, it automatically has a lot of positive vibes.
Yeah. Good. And who has written this one?
Yes, that's me.
Okay,
yes. I feel that we are slowly getting alienated from one another. So at all times when we are free, I love to pull everyone together and start a game so that we forget our individual activities and processes and then come together to a unified purpose.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's brilliant. Yeah. And exactly that's what games do. The only thing with serious games is you then use this logic of bringing people together, bonding, laughing. You use it for something that is also a serious purpose. Yes. So better work, better collaboration, understanding more, remembering something better for education and so on. Yes. So it has potential. Okay, that's great. So what we see here that we can, even though we are all meeting for the first time, but the atmosphere is, because it's a game, it's quite different from having an online lecture where you see one face and then maybe some text on the PowerPoint. We are interacting, and also like along the way we get to know some things about the people here. So we know that Sandeep has done this game with the citizens on the budgets, and that some people have used games, some haven't, and so on. So this is different from just asking introduction round, or what do you do? I do ABC, and then by the time you have done 5 or 6 person again, you don't remember anything. But this is a kind of, everybody tells a little story, and so again, stories are more memorable to humans. Right. Okay. So let me move on a bit. So these are some of the effects we see. And we've experienced now, it's a different kind of communication and interaction, and cognitive effects, meaning we can remember better what happened. The kind of bonding that happens through, like when we laugh together, for example, is also very human universal. And also outputs and outcomes. Remember, I showed you this diagram that people were working on in my session. So actually you have, instead of having a long text of minutes that then nobody wants to read because it's too boring, you have a picture with the diagram, and you can, if you forgot something, you can look at it. Right. So let's now go to another little game. I've also used games for education and awareness. So this is an ecosystems game I played when I was in Pune with different cards. You move around the circle and you pick up cards and discuss different ecosystems and their challenges. And this is another game that we'll also try now. This is called Agroecology Transition. So if you want to change agriculture and create systems that are more ecologically, like permaculture, as we have in our parallel session. So again, if I go somewhere and I just lecture, or use of all those chemicals is all wrong, don't do it, and you shopper have to research every product, whether it's ecological or not, then people don't like that. So in this kind of game, people are more happy to talk about it. So again, we'll try this. This game is also online. This is actually, as you can see, this is a board game. You walk around this board concourse and you have different cards that come up. So I'll try if it works. In this case, I'll make the moves. I have to share a different screen. So let me see if that will work. Yeah, share. We'll have to give it a second to come up. Okay. Yeah, that's good. Right. So the best is we just play a few moves. So there are 4 different roles in this game. One is a trader, like for example, shopkeeper. One is a farmer. one is a consumer, like household, and one is an NGO. So from all perspectives, you want to have more ecological agriculture. So and this is a progress bar. Whenever something good happens, we go up this progress bar. When a problem happens, we go down. So this is somewhere midway in the game. You can see here the tokens are placed at different levels. So I need first volunteer. So I have Shruti. Would you be able to be my first player?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, Shruti. Now I'm going to roll the dice for you. First, you tell me which of the roles you want to be. You want to be farmer, consumer, trader, or NGO?
I'll take NGO.
Okay, you'll be NGO. NGO is this one here. Okay, so we'll roll the dice. Just a second. Yeah, we'll roll the dice. It even makes the dice sound, which is nice. So it's 1. So I'll move you 1 forward. And there are different phases of having an idea, then planning it, then implementing it for better agriculture. So here this phase is, hang on, NGO. So you will get a card. And this phase is called the transition card. So I'll pick one card and then we'll discuss it. This one should get discarded. Yeah, I'll just make this bigger. I'll just read it because it may be too small for you. So it says, to you NGO, it says, a new tax scheme makes it affordable for you to install a solar panel for the first time, to use renewable energy for your fridges. And you make a business plan and advance 4 steps. Right. So this is something good. And then we advance here 4 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right.
Wow. So,
Shruti, now can you comment on this? Why is this a good thing to have renewable energy for your fridges in that NGO's premises?
Yes, ma'am, because it will reduce the dependency on the non-renewable resources like the coal or the heat energy which is generated from the coal or the trees.
Okay.
Or the electricity.
Yes. Yes, good. You'll have renewable electricity. Maybe this could help some other people as well who don't have fridges. Maybe it's a village or something. You think maybe some other people could use the NGO's fridge as well?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Maybe some farmers who are growing mushrooms or something, and they need to cool the mushrooms for a couple of days. Okay, good. So let's take somebody. Who else? Jayshree, I'll roll the dice for you.
Yes. I want to be the farmer.
Okay, you've got 4. So you'll be the farmer. This is the farmer. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, this phase is called the planning phase. So you're planning for better agroecology. And again, you get a card. Right, here it is. Here it says you have found a government program that sells subsidized fruit trees very cheaply. Advance 3 steps while buying trees and planning where to plant them. Right. Okay, so that's also good. So can you comment on this? Why is it good to have fruit trees, and what is happening in this story?
Yes, fruit trees will bring economic viability for the farmer. It will also help to generate income for the government and increase trade practices. So while also utilizing the land sustainably.
Yeah, that's great. So we can get away from some monocultures, like only having wheat or rice with heavy chemicals or something. We can have more variety and more income. Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's take one more. And Nikhil, would you like to be the next player?
Sure.
Okay, I roll the dice again for you. I have 4 as well. Who do you want to be, Nikhil?
Trader.
trader. Okay, trader is here. This is the trader. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to move to the next one. Okay, so trader, this is also the transition phase. Oh, sorry, I'm in the wrong one here, trader. You get this card. Obviously, this can all happen face-to-face much more easily. Everybody will, you know, pick up cards physically. So online is second best. Okay, so here, trader, you have found, no, wait, that's different. Here. Hang on. Here, your company's new, so you are a trading company, your company's new corporate social responsibility program plans to focus on debt advice and debt relief for farmers. Lose a turn while you make sure the program will meet its objectives. Aha, so you are going to lose a turn, means you can't play next time. Can you comment on this scenario? So you have CSR, you want to focus on debt relief for farmers. And so why would you lose a turn? Actually, this is strange. I don't know why I wrote this.
Maybe because as a trader, I need to make money and I'll lose some money, I think, because I'm trying to advise them on that. Maybe.
Ah, I see. Yeah. And here also it says you have to think about it first. So you need to lose some time to think about it. Yeah, and you can't spend that time on making more profit. So you'll have to forego some profit. So would a trader do that? Or maybe it wouldn't be logical for a company to do that?
It's mandatory, then he has to.
Yeah. Well, companies do have CSR programs, so maybe it's a big one that, you know, they can afford to lose some time. Okay, good. I think this is enough for the game because we want to have some time for questions as well. So again, you see how the game works. There are actually nearly 100 scenarios in this game. So as you move with the different roles through the different phases of you're having an idea, planning it and implementing, then there are the different scenarios that happen. And you can, when you are around a table, here online it's a bit more difficult. When you're around a table, then it's quite easy to then have a discussion about these things. I just go back to my PowerPoint. Right. See what else I have. And then we have 10 minutes left. So I'll finish in a couple of minutes and then we can ask some questions. Right. Another thing we did, we use games for presentations as well. So often you want to present something, especially as an academic, and rather than having just question answer, only talking online, this was online, I invented this game, which is you ask the participant to choose a color. In this case, we were a panel of 4 people. So the audience were choosing a color and a number. Under each of these gray squares, a question is hidden, and the question marked ones are wild cards. So people can invent their own questions. So then at the midway, it looks like this. So different people have been assigned the questions and we discuss it and it becomes a visual kind of game. So as you see, series games, you can really use them in many contexts. They can be for teaching, education context. They can be for better collaboration and discussion. They can be for presenting. Here are some, now we are ready for some questions. Here in this link, I'll also put this in the chat. This is a book on serious games, and it has a lot of playable games with all their rules and game instructions for games that you use for better collaboration in a group. And I'll also put my email in the chat. I published this book last year, so you can have a look there for more games. Oh, there's a comment. Fruit trees will immensely help soil and water conservation. Yeah, and beneficial to health of humans and food for other species. Yeah, like bees, for example. Oh, sorry, now I've put this in the wrong, here. yeah, this is a link to a book, and here's my email. You can also email me later. Right, okay, so we have 5-10 minutes left. If anybody wants to ask questions, please raise your hand. I can try to answer.
It's wonderful to know that you have created these games.
Thanks.
Are these available online?
Yes. I mean, of course, the games are at different stages. So the link to the book I had, they have games like the one you saw at the beginning, where people were making this diagram. That game is called the living diagram, because you are like changing the diagram in a 3D way. So there are about 12 games are there in the book with all the instructions, how many players, how long it takes, what props you need. And they are all designed for work where you don't have a lot of resources. So you don't need anything except pen, paper, and odd bits and pieces that you can find in any household or anywhere. So they're very easy. You don't need to know, you don't need to have iPad or computers or know how to do anything digitally. So this is one set of games. The other online versions are new, so they are not yet available somewhere. But I plan to publish games with press online, so they would be available. This is the name of a press, Ishara Press. I'm involved with that, and we want to start publishing games. Now Sandeep has a question, please.
Thanks. Thank you for the session. Really enjoyed it. I have a question about creating games. Are there any development tools in the sense in the era of social distancing, we have to play games online, and the kind of games that I'm trying to develop for public participation and for educating people about social welfare schemes, it should be done ideally online. So, to create one, how does one, after one thinks through the game, how does one give it the form? And, instead of going to a programmer, is there a tool that one can do it, quickly by themselves?
Yes. Oh, you mean for implementing online in particular?
Yes.
There's the Agroecology Transition game. I made it with a platform called Instructor, Instructor.com. Oops, I put it in the chat. And in this platform, you can create your own game. The basic membership is free, but I have a more advanced membership so that, for example, I could use bespoke designs of the cards, and it's more visual. So this game allows you to construct your own online game, for example, this board game. And then you can, people can become members for free and can start playing games. The only disadvantage is that you have to, it's a bit of work for people because you have to sign up to the platform, and then you have to register as member, and you have to click on link to confirm and so on. But it's the basic one is, if you just want people to play, that is free. And I didn't create this myself, basically, mainly because I didn't have time. But so I paid somebody to create this from my design idea, but it's not difficult. So you don't need, because everything is, visual, you just select how many tiles, and it gives you preset options. So you don't need programming skills for that. You're not writing any code. So this is one option. It's not very fancy, like, it's not virtual reality or, something very advanced. The graphics are a bit basic, but otherwise it works.
I actually want to make it for the mobile platform, so I hope it is. Can it be ported to a mobile phone?
I think I've not tried it, but I think it should work on the mobile, because this is just a website. So whatever comes up, on your computer, it will also come up on the phone. It's just a matter of planning how much you can put on a screen. So, but it should work. And what I use a lot, I actually just use PowerPoint. This other game you saw at the end for presentation is just PowerPoint, because you can make one slide and you just manipulate on the different elements on the slides. You can just draw the dots. And there are other things like Myra board that people use. I think that's what it's called. Myra board, where you can design something on a whiteboard, and you put different elements there, and people can interact with it. So everybody logs on, and people can manipulate and add comments and so on. That is also Myra or Myro maybe. I don't remember now. So yeah, there are some tools like that. But the main thing is, once your design idea is clear, then it's possible to use that without having expensive programmers.
Can I ask one more question? If the moderator.
Sure.
So I'm just going to share a link. Before coming with the session, I was doing some research on which are the social good games out there, and I couldn't find many. I just found this link. So can you guide me to a repository where I can look at what are the other games that have been developed and just kind of learn from them, their pedagogy in those games?
Yes, the link to the book I've posted there. It describes the different effects on communication and on interaction, and it has playable games. And otherwise, there are some other good websites. Games for Good is one, I think it's called. But actually, there aren't that many compilations of serious games, because it's still quite a new thing. So I'm not aware of any platform where you just have a whole big list of serious games and you can just select them and go to them. So anything else would be sub-collections. But yeah, I can look for it. If you type your email in the chat, I could send you this Games for Good, I think it's called, a couple of other links I have.
Just it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Okay.
Really appreciate it.
Any other questions? We still have a couple of minutes, I think. Right. Who else has any questions? Okay.
I just want to say it's a very
Yes.
nice concept which you have introduced. I think it's going to be very useful. I work as volunteer in NGOs, and it's very difficult to pass messages. Whatever, using serious knowledge and all that, people are not interested in knowing it. So I think this is a very good way of communicating. Excellent. Thanks for introducing this. Right?
Yes, thanks, Sanjeev. Yeah, I think for citizen engagement, it's really good for citizens. I'm less convinced that the policymakers would like to come and play games. I think it's a bit hard for them.
I think